Welcome back to ITD 212, Interactive Web Page Design. I'm Mr. Smith, your instructor. Today we're going to add a font from Adobe Typekit. First, select the text in your website on Muse and choose Add Web Font. You'll just choose the Get Started button if you're set up like I am, and that's going to bring you to Adobe Typekit. You'll have a lot of options here to pick different fonts, and I just want you to practice this for now on a blank Muse website, and you can choose different specifications of font available in the Typekit. I'm using fat letters here. That's what I was looking for, good for headings, and I will import that type into my Muse file, and then it'll be available here in the drop-down menu for text available in your toolbar at the top. I'm going to change the size of the font, and here you see the generic website is starting to improve. Now, we'd like to add some color, so let's come back into Muse, and here I'm just creating a brand new site, but I'm going to use that font that I just imported. I'm going to go to my master template and choose the text tool. Then I will go to my drop down menu for font and typing. It's the T located on the toolbar on your left, and the name that I'm using here is just for a website that I have the domain for. You'll probably just use your name at this point in your sample site, and then use a font that you've imported from Typekit. And let's make this a heading, because this week we're not going to do a whole lot. We're just going to create an aesthetic. So here I'm going to change the kerning. That's what we call this here if it's about halfway across the screen with your type tool. And it controls how far apart the letters are. I'm going to experiment with the size of the font, and I'm using 96. You'll see here that I just want to stretch across the center of the screen, and I don't want to go to the left and the right of any of the blue guider lines, because we want our Muse sites to work on any normal size monitor and be easily exportable to mobile. Now I've gone to Adobe Color CC, and that's a Creative Cloud available asset, and you don't even have to be logged in to use this. And if you look, you'll come to a color wheel and you'll be able to drag around different color samples, simple dragging here, and you'll be able to have the color selections conform to basic color rules like monochromatic, analogous, and triad. This is compound. And these are basic tried and true color theory rules. And what this does is allows you to create color schemes. If you look down at the bottom, there's the hexagonal identification number that you can type right into Muse to create colors for your palette. Here's another way that you can get great color theory is you can import a picture, or rather save a picture to your computer and then drag that into Kuler. So here I like the color scheme used on this comic book cover, so what I'm doing is going to pull this photo that I found from the web into Kuler by using the camera icon at the top of Kuler, and that's going to let me select colors from the photo and create a color scheme from any photo that I import. In a minute, I'll show you how to do this just with a regular photograph, but it would work the same here. I liked the color scheme of this comic book. It's award-winning, so I pulled it in to try and make a color scheme, and there you go. Now, if you don't want to create a color scheme this way, you can also choose to browse around inside of other user-created color patterns here at Adobe Color CC. And you're able to import any of these. These are the most popular. You can sort by month. You can sort by most popular of all time. They also have most used color schemes. That's what I'm selecting here. And any of these color schemes are available to you here. So I've just pulled in bold watermelon. I just added that to my asset or color scheme saved files here. And I'm going to save a few more. And now I'm going to show you how to use a photograph Again, just like I did before, although it looked more like a print item and an easier to see color scheme in the comic book cover that I used before, here I'm going to take a mountain landscape photo and pull that into Adobe Color Creative Cloud using the camera icon again. And here you see you're able to drag around the selector icons to find various colors inside of any photo to create a color theme with. And I'll save this in my library. Now, to get these colors into Muse and use them on a website you're creating, you open up one of the color schemes like I did in Cooler and you use the hexagonal values. Then for my browser background, I click on the background, then select the color in browser fill, copy the hexagonal color identification number from Adobe Color CC, enter that in, and you see my background has changed. Now, same thing for text. I've copied my text because I'm going to create a background effect here. And you select the text that you want to change the color of. And again, you will just highlight all of the text, select the color box of the text fill, and change the hexagonal identification number to match the one that you have in Adobe Color CC. Here this black looks the same to the eye, but it's really not the same as the one in my color scheme, so I'm going to change this. You might not even be able to see the difference. But it's a good idea because of these color schemes following great color theory rules. Here I'm matching up the two typed headings and I'm using the darker black to create a shadowing effect. And then I'm still would like to highlight the text, make it a little easier to read, so you can create a background two ways. First, I can just use the polygon tool to the left at my toolbar to draw a rectangle, and I'll fill that again with a color from my color scheme, copy and paste the hexagonal identification number. Now I need to change the ordering in my layers menu. See, I just pulled that polygon to the back behind the text to see how this looks, and it looks pretty good. But for simplicity's purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that rectangle back out and just get rid of that in a minute. But I'm then going to select my black background text, which is the furthest back in my layers arrangement, change the fill color of the text box to the same as the cream color I just used, and that'll keep everything organized and together better, especially when I publish to the web. So here I've created a color scheme. If you preview, this is what I've created so far, just by using the Typekit and Adobe Color. I'll see you next time.